from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Welcome to the National News broadcast coming to you live from the National News Studios here at Rupavahini. I'm Kasmi Balachandra. Joining me is Charita Minipurarachi. Here are your headlines for tonight. Gas price is to come down after the 5th of this month. Signs on the reduction of wheat price as well. The European Union reiterates its commitment in extending cooperation to Sri Lanka to overcome the economic crisis. The Prime Minister says the government's aim is to hand over a house to every family without a house. Many reservoirs in the highlands begin to overflow. The sea areas off the eastern and southern coast turn rough. The new UK government scraps its first decision. His Holiness the Pope requests the Russian president to stop the Ukraine aggression.
On to those and other stories in detail now, and starting off with the top local story. The Litro Gas Company says steps will be taken to reduce the price of Litro gas according to the price formula with effect from 5th of this month, and the chairman and the chief executive officer of the company, Mudita Peris, has made the announcement in a communique.
Trade Minister Nalin Fernando says that it would be possible to reduce the price of wheat flour next week. He has disclosed the fact in response to a query raised in Parliament today. Minister Nalin Fernando said that the two wheat flour companies are facing a huge problem due to Sri Lanka not having adequate foreign exchange to import flour. As a result, importers are given permission to receive stocks from India and other countries. He added that since India has banned exporting flour to Sri Lanka, has turned to Dubai and Turkey to receive wheat supplies. Today is the World Habitat Day.
The first Monday of the month in October in each year has been declared as the World Habitat Day since the year 1986. In the year 1985, the United Nations Human Habitat Commission and its annual session in Kingston City in the state of Jamaica had declared the World Habitat Day. Then the Sri Lankan President Ranasinghe Premadasu, who had attended the conference, presented for the first time the concept of an International Habitat Day. Accordingly, commemoration of the World Habitat Day under numerous themes had begun since the year 1986. The year's World Habitat Day is being celebrated under the theme, "Let us not make a change but protect all and every place." The humanity of today is being subjected to an enormous pressure as a result of climate changes, conflict between nations and COVID-19 pandemic. Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, issuing a message in connection with the World Habitat Day, says rapid and haphazard urbanization procedure has intensified the challenges faced by us today. Living conditions with inadequate housing have increased the problem of overcrowding day by day. The UN Secretary General has further pointed out that the speedy measures have to be taken to provide housing facilities as well as other basic services. President Ranil Wickremesinghe says President Ranil Wickremesinghe says that the expectation of all of us is to create a society where all families could live in their own houses in happiness with their beloved in the period of 25 years spanning from the upcoming 75th independence commemoration. The President, issuing a message in connection with the World Habitat Day, says that his need is a revival in attitude to utilize future opportunities on the benefit of all rather than worrying over golden opportunities that has split from us. He adds that plans are under to set up 2,000 new housing units in urban and semi-urban areas in parallel to the Independence Commemoration Program. The government's aim is to resolve the housing needs of low-income families in an efficient and humanitarian format. President Ranil Wickremesinghe further says a methodology which gives us due place to the appropriate persons will be carried forward. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena says the government's expectation is to hand over a house to every family without a house. He has made these remarks addressing a ceremony in connection with the World Habitat Day at the Temple Race today. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena said that massive investments are being made to build housing complexes in areas where people live in shanties. He added that we must commit ourselves to ignite expectations in their minds of children to fulfill their dreams of decent housing. This is a task of not only the government sector but of the private entrepreneurs as well.
අපි පැල්පතින් තොර නගර වගේම මිනිස් ජීවිතවල ආරක්ෂාව දියුණු හා දරුවන්ගේ බලාපොරොත්තු ඇති නිවසක දරුවන්ට සුවිශේෂ වූ අනාගතය ගොඩනගන්නට පුළුවන් වාතාවරණය බිහි කර දීමට අපි කැප වෙන්නට ඕනේ. ඒ වෙන කැපවීම රාජ්‍යාංශයේ පමණක් නොව අනිත් අංශවල අලුත් මාර්ග විවෘත කර ගනිමින් පොදු ජාතික අවශ්‍යතාවයේ සපුරාලීමට හැකි ජීවිතයකට ඒ හැමදෙනා පත් කර ගැනීමේ ඕනෑකම වෙනුවෙන් අපි වැඩ කරමු.
Minister Prasanna Ranadunga said that they are hoping to continuously and vibrantly carry forward the habitat development program in the country. The minister has further pointed out that struggles will have to be conducted in order to build houses and for the people to stand up on their own.
මිනිස්සු ජීවත් කරන්න අපි අරගල කළ යුත්තේ රටක් හැටියට නැගී සිටින්න මිසක් රට වටන්න නෙමෙයි. අපිට ඒ හැකියාව තියෙනවා. පුළු ආණ්ඩුව අද ඒ අභියෝගය බාර අරගෙන ඉදිරියට ගෙන යන වැඩපිළිවෙලට අපි සියලු දෙනාගේම සහයෝගය ලබා දෙන්න කියන ඉල්ලීම කරමින් මම නිහඬව බොහොම ස්තුතියි.
Presentation of prizes to the winners of the competitions on children's art, short films and home gardening, jointly organized by the Urban Development and Housing Ministry and the Urban Habitat Development Authority, has taken place today. 650 deeds on the ownership of houses were also handed over. A group including the State Minister Thenuku Vidanakamage and Arundika Fernando has also attended the ceremony. And meanwhile, the chairperson of the European Commission, Ms. Ursula von der Leyen, says that the European Commission extends assistance to Sri Lanka to march forward to prosperity, overcoming the economic crisis.
She has extended the assurance by sending a message of congratulations to President Ranil Wickremesinghe over his appointment to the post of president. The EU President in her message further points out that it is essential to respect the supremacy of the law and basic rights as well as to create a dialogue between all parties concerned. She has also reiterated on the freedom of expression and freedom of assembling. She has added that the European Commission would evaluate in due course of the progress of the Sri Lanka's commitment regarding the GSP Plus facility. The relevant report is scheduled to be issued either by the end of this year or in the first half of next year. It is also hoped to introduce policies that would guarantee the short and long-term needs of all Sri Lankans. The President also extended best wishes for the fulfillment of the efforts of President Ranil Wickremesinghe to make a successful recovery from Sri Lanka's economic setback. She has further reiterated a commitment to further strengthen the bonds and cooperation between Sri Lanka and the European Union based on mutual needs and values of partnership.
Meanwhile, the Canadian High Commissioner David Mikonin and French Ambassador Eric Loveteau, who have completed their tenure in office, have met President Ranil Wickremesinghe at the President's office today. Upon officially informing the President of the completion of their service period, they were engaged in a cordial discussion with the President. David Mikonin has functioned as the Canadian High Commissioner in Sri Lanka from the 23rd of October 2017 until present. Eric Loveteau has been functioning as a French ambassador since the 1st of November 2018. A meeting between President Ranil Wickremesinghe and President of the Sri Lanka Bishops' Conference and Bishops of Kurunegala, Reverend Dr. Harold Anthony Pereira, has taken place at the residence of the Bishops of Kurunegala last evening. The President, upon inquiring the well-being of the Reverend Bishop of Kurunegala, was engaged in talks on Catholic religious affairs. Deputy of the Catholic Diocese of Kurunegala, Reverend P.L. Janaka Fernando, and other religious dignitaries as well as former Minister Ravi Karunanayake have graced the occasion.
Minister of Education Susil Premajayantha says that the entire school system will have to face many problems, including the covering of the syllabus in the event of the postponing of the GCE Advanced Level examination. The minister also said in Parliament today that discussions will be conducted with the Department of Examination regarding extending some form of relief to the students sitting for the GCE Advanced Level
examination in their second or third attempts. Parliamentarian Uddika Premaratna said that there's a special request from students sitting for this year's GCE advanced level examination to the President and the Speaker to have at least 2 months' time for them to prepare for the examination. Minister Susil Premajayantha said that if the examination was postponed by 2 months to February next year, a problem would have arisen. Clash of school timetables would compel to close down 10,000 schools. That means 4.1 million students losing schools. The minister further said that examination could not be conducted in April as well. Therefore, he said further postponement of the examination is not possible. State Minister of Children's and Women's Affairs Geeta Kumarasinghe says sanitary towels will be provided at an affordable price to women and female students. The government has decided yesterday to remove all imported taxes on 5 raw materials used in the local manufacturing of sanitary towels.
State Minister Geeta Kumarasinghe said that this is important decision would reduce the price of a towel by 50 to 60 rupees. She further said that nutrition vouchers are being provided to pregnant women for a period of 5 months and also 5 months after the delivery of the baby. A sum of 60 rupees has been reserved for the morning meal of a child.
The Department of Meteorology predicts rough seas off the coast from Galle to Trincomalee via Putlam and Kankasanture. Similar rough sea conditions would prevail from Galle to Puttuvil via Hambantota. The department requests fishing and naval communities to refrain from activities in the sea areas in the next 24 hours. 2 sluice gates remained open in the Upper Kotmale Reservoir. Engineers in charge of the reservoir warned residents using water in the Lower Kotmale area to remain vigilant. 2 sluice gates of the Lakshapana Reservoir have also remained open since this morning. Our Hatton correspondent says that the Norton Bridge and Vimala Surendra reservoirs have exceeded the spill level. A 49-year-old woman of 3 children was killed at dawn today when a soil mound was fallen into a part of a house in the Mount Vernon plantation in the Dimbulapatana police division. Her daughter has escaped an injury. A husband and wife sleeping in a house have been injured when a tree fell on their residence in Gaminipura, Hatton at dawn today.
Remains of the award-winning late actor Darshan Dharmaraj were brought to his residence in Rakwana at 3 p.m. today. Darshan Dharmaraj was born in Rakwana in Ratnapura, had his primary education at the St. John's Tamil College in Rakwana. He had entered the cinema field through acting in the Prabhakaran movie in 2008. Since then, he had contributed in acting in 15 movies and teledramas. The most notable movie that he had acted including Mata, Machan, Sadapana, Adresne and Alako Dapadi. Darshan Dharmaraj had been felicitated with the First Actor Award at many local film festivals for his acting roles in the movie Ini Avan, directed by Ashoka Hadagama. He was 41-year-old at the time of his demise.
This story begins with the arrival of a group of Israeli tourists to Sri Lanka a year ago. They had their lodgings at the enchanting beach resort Bay West of Arugambe. The speaker of the story is a 19-year-old Israeli female named Eden Siri. She and her fiancé Nadawo were on their way to Bandaravela to watch the Ravana waterfall. However, before reaching the destination, Eden Siri fell on a precipice of around 40 feet and severely got injured. She was immediately admitted to the Munragal hospital. Upon hearing of the tragic incident, owner of the hotel Gamano Pereira had contacted the chief neurology physician of the Badula Hospital, Dr. Lakmal Hevage. The patient was transferred to the Badula Hospital where more than a 4-hour surgery was performed on her by a group of doctors headed by Dr. Hevage. She was admitted to a private hospital in Colombo after an extremely successful operation. The cured patient, as a token of gratitude, met Gamanu Pereira and Dr. Hevage 3 weeks after her recovery. She returning from Israel again 1 year later, visited the Bay Vista Hotel and extended her thanks to the doctor and the hotel staff.
Come to Arugambe and come back to this place. As she said, she was well treated.
We were here last year. First I came here to Sri Lanka with a group to do surfing. After I think it was 10 days or 11, Nadav joined me, and it was after the surfing trip was over. We planned to go to Ella to see like the falls and the view. When we went there, it was like in the whole COVID epidemic, so it was empty, and times were kind of hard, for Sri Lanka. And then when we were here, we were about, I don't know, 30 minutes, and the whole accident happened, which I don't remember at all, but Nadav remembers everything. And we were transported through 3 hospitals, which also I don't really remember very well, so you need to ask my very good doctor who is here also.
Mario Ananda launches the music video for his latest single, Rock and Roll, with the hope for children to chase their dreams beyond their limits and dream big.
The latest release is a Wushu-themed song titled Rock and Roll, and the singer Sarah Singh Patau Opera was launched parallel to the Children's Day at the National Film Corporation Theatre, Tarangani recently. The chief guest of the event was Dr. Kishore Gomez. After his trilingual sports music video Living on the Edge released last year, Mario Ananda launched a sequel to the Living on the Edge Rock World and Change and the world concept developed for children. His goal is to popularize these sports among Sri Lankan children as a lifestyle. This is with the intention of rescuing the children from going astray and addicted on drugs, smoking and alcohol. The music direction, lyrics and vocals, and the concept of the video production, the script and the visual direction are by Mario Ananda, and children collaborated in this production as lyrics, vocalists, sportsmen and actors. In the meantime, world's first ever theme song for health, Qigong, and was also officially released on the same day, marking the Chinese National Day.
Rock the world, change the world.
Took my time to pledge that I'm living on the edge. Yeah.
Get yourself a head start. I'm gonna get right back at you. You better know by now that I reach you in a fraction of a second. I'm all about the action. Come on now, get on your feet. Step down to a field of equality. Don't break the same rules that you break to kick us out of the equation, cause you'll need your brain. Rock and roll, skin and mold, mislead your vote. Children of the dark world, break your bones and knock the walls, don't freedom to your soul. Lights beyond the oceans, never going to cry, boy you dare not die. Your bird has a right and reason on her. Way to go, rock the show, everybody roar, 'cause we are live, baby.
Now for some news items in brief. The Colombo High Court has decided today that the verdict on the bail application request by 25 accused, including Naufar Maulavi, over aiding to conspire the Easter Sunday terror attack, will be delivered on the 24th of November. Police Sergeant Chamila Buddhikakumara, who has prevented a cash robbery in front of the Tambuttegama Bank on the 26th of last month, has been promoted to the rank of Sub-Police Inspector. He was also handed over a Police Hero Medal and a cash gift of 2.5 million rupees. Minister Tiran Alas and IGP C.D. Vikramaratne were present at the felicitation ceremony held at the Ministry of Public Security today. Distribution of urea fertilizer for the maize cultivation in the Maha season in the districts of Monaragala, Kurunagala and Anuradhapura is taking place. The program is being conducted by the Commercial Fertilizer Company under the supervision of the Department of Agrarian Development.
The Chinese embassy in Sri Lanka has donated aid valued at 4.3 million rupees to the University of Jaffna. The embassy says that funds have been handed over for the welfare of the students of the university. The aid has been presented under the scholarship program of the Chinese envoy. Chinese ambassador in Sri Lanka, Che Xiangdong, has presided over the aid presentation ceremony at the Chinese embassy in Colombo. Vice Chancellor of the Jaffna University, S. Sri Sanjay Raja, also attended the event. The scholarship program of the Chinese ambassador has been instrumental in extending assistance to many universities in Sri Lanka. It was under the auspices of the program that aid was granted to the University of Jaffna and Eastern this year. The student welfare unit of the Jaffna University says that monies will be directed for the welfare activities of the students, including the Mahapula Fund. Stay tuned for international news after this break.
Happiness is a feeling for yourself, but joy, on the other hand, now that's something you share. Could also be a much-needed getaway from the routines of every day, or even a simple beginning to a grand story of empowerment with those you love and trust. And that is why we make banking enjoyable. HNB, a joy to bank with.
ප්‍රියමල් කොත්තුමි hot and spicy cricket KTM හිස්තන සෂේ පැකට්ටුවේ අංකය සටහන් කර 23:43ට SMS කරන්න. රුපියල් 2,50,000ක මුදල් තෑගි ඇතුළු තවත් වටිනා තෑගි දිනපතා දිනා ගන්න. නොවැම්බර් 30 දක්වා පමණයි.
ප්‍රියමල් කොත්තුමි ෆන් තමයි.
People's Remittance இடமிருந்து நாளாந்தம் 10,000 ரூபாய், வாராந்தம் பெறுமதியான தங்க பவுன், மாதாந்தம் 1 மில்லியன் ரூபாவுடன் வருட இறுதி மாபெரும் சீட்டெழுப்பில் 1 கோடி ரூபாய். நீங்கள் வெளிநாட்டிலிருந்து மக்கள் வங்கியினூடாக பணம் அனுப்பும் போது பரிசு குவியல். People's Remittance, கோடி அதிர்ஷ்டம், அனுப்பவும் வெல்லவும்.
Welcome back with international news. And the UK government revised a plan to scrap to the top rate of income tax today after a public blacklist and a mass march make out the turbulence.
The U-turn comes after several senior Tory MPs voiced their opposition to the plan, announced just 10 days ago in the mini-budget. The new government had announced a swath of tax cuts just weeks into its tenure, but they were poorly received by financial markets. Taking the top rate of tax paid on incomes over 150,000 sterling pounds from 45% to 40% was seen as particularly political toxic as Brits deal with a cost of living crisis. In the days following the announcement, the pound dropped to an all-time low and mortgage deals were pulled from the market. UK government bonds also began to sell off at a historic rate, causing the Bank of England to begin a temporary purchase program to calm volatility. Today, Finance Minister Kwasi Kwarteng confirmed that the government would be scrapping its plans to cut tax for the country's highest earners.
Brazil's election is going into a second round in which the leftist candidate Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva will face the far-right incumbent Jair Bolsonaro. Voters now have 4 weeks to decide which the two should lead Brazil. With almost all the votes counted, Lula had won 48% against Bolsonaro's 43%, a much closer result than the opinions polls had suggested. But Lula feels short of the more than 50% of valid votes needed to prevent a runoff. Winning outright in the first round was always going to be a tall order for any candidate, as the last time it happened was 24 years ago. Both candidates can welcome and this is a victory, though Lula has already said that this is a mere delay on his way to the presidency. Voters in Brazil have many pressing concerns, including rising food prices, which have contributed to an increase in poverty and hunger as they go into the second round of voting.
Pope Francis reiterated his call on Russian President Vladimir Putin to stop the war in Ukraine in his address yesterday. The Pope denounced the absurd risk to humanity of catastrophic nuclear war as tensions escalate. Pope Francis uttered his strongest plea yet on the seventh-month war as he addressed the public in St. Peter's Square. It was the first time in public that he cited Putin's leadership. The pontiff also called on Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to be open to serious peace proposals. He exhorted the international community to use all diplomatic instruments to end this huge tragedy and horror of war. He expressed anguish that the world is learning on the geography of Ukraine through the names of its cities and towns now associated with the death of civilians including Bucha and Mariupol. Throughout the war, Pope Francis denounced the recourse to arms and urged dialogue, but recently he stressed Ukraine's right to defend itself from aggression.
Renowned Japanese manga artists are holding an online charity auction to support people affected by the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The project was proposed by a Japanese manga artist Shiba Tetsuya, who is known for the boxing manga series Shita no Joy. More than 100 lady manga artists have joined him, including Morikawa George, creator of Hajime no Ippo, and Fukumoto Nobuyuki, the creator of Gambling Apocalypse and Kanji. The artists drew a total of 146 cards with the theme of peace. They will go under the hammer in 3 installments. Some of the works are collaborations of featuring popular characters. Chiba said as a manga artist, he wanted to contribute and encourage more people to support those who are enduring hardships. The auction will run until the October 23rd. The organizers have said that the procedures will be directed to an international non-governmental organization, Doctors Without Borders.
මෙහෙම දිනන්න මෙහෙම වන්න
Prima Katami Fantamai.
Tonight, Sri Lanka women's team has secured a 11-run victory against the United Arab Emirates state team in a Women's Asia Cup cricket tournament match played in Sylhet, Bangladesh.
The Sri Lanka team has scored 109 runs for the loss of 9 wickets at the end of 20 overs. Harshita Samaravikrama, 37, Mahika Gauri took 3 wickets. Due to inclement weather, the UAE team was given a victory target of 66 runs to be scored in 11 overs. But the team managed to score only 54 runs. Kavish Dilhari and Inoka Ranavira took 2 wickets each. Hero of the match was Harshita Samaravikrama. DS Senanayake and Vidyartha colleges have become co-champions in the 7-side inter-school under-19 rugby tournament final played at the Nitowala grounds in Kandy. Both teams have been tied up at 10 points at the end of the match. The Sri Lanka Badminton Association has commenced conducting outdoor badminton tournaments with the approval of the World Badminton Association. According to the program got underway in Colombo, similar matches are to be played in 5 provinces. The 56th Sri Lanka Army Inter-Regiment Road Race was conducted from Sri Lanka Army Headquarters premises to Panagoda Army Camp yesterday. 28 female competitors and 119 male competitors took part in the 21-kilometer race. The first place in the men's division was secured by K. Shumagireshwaran of the Sri Lanka Artillery Regiment. Corporal S.M. Gunasekara of the Singha Regiment took the second place, and the first place in women's division was taken over by P.W. Herath of the Sri Lanka Army Brigade. The second place was clinched by the MP Herath of the Army Common Services Brigade.
මෙහෙම දිනන්න මෙහෙම වන්න
Prima Katami Fantamai.
And with that, we conclude tonight's English news on Rupavahini. Do watch us tomorrow at the very same time. Good night.